Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Prem se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Hari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the Sangha devotees, all glories to the Sangha devotees, all glories to the Sangha devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Kuranga, all glories to Shri Prabhupada.
Yamuna Tira Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th Canto, Chapter 20, entitled Bali Maharaj Surrenders the Universe, text number 9. Sulabhayude viprase Yani vritastanu chaja Na tata tirtayate Shradaya yedana chajaha Sulabha yude viprashe Yani britastanu chajaha Na tata tirtayate Shradaya yedana chajaha Sulabha yude viprashe Yanavritastanu chajaha Na tata tirtayate Shradaya yedana chajaha
Sulabhayudi viprashe Yanivritastanu tyaja Na tata tirtayate Shradaya yedana tyaja Sulabhayudi viprashe Yanivritastanu tyaja Tata tirtayate
Ladies, Sulabha, very easily obtained. Yudhi, in the battlefield. Triparishe, O best of the Brahmanas. He, indeed. Anivritaha, not being afraid of fighting. Tanu chajaha, and thus lay down their lives. Na, not. Tata, as. Titte aite, on the arrival of a saintly person, who creates holy places. Shradaya, with faith and devotion. Yea, those who Danicha Jaha can give up their accumulated wealth. Translation. O best of the Brahmanas, many men have laid down their lives on the battlefield, being unafraid of fighting, but rarely has one gotten the chance to give his accumulated wealth faithfully to a saintly person who creates holy places. Purport. Many ksatris have laid down their lives on the battlefield for their nations, but hardly a person can be found who's given up all his property and his accumulated wealth in charity to a person worthy of the gift, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 17:20. Datavyam iti yattanam diyatenu pakarine desikala chapatra cha taddanam satvikam smritam. That gift which is given out of duty at the proper time and place to a worthy person and without expectation of return is considered to be charity in the mode of goodness. Thus charity given in the proper place is called sattvika, and above this charity in goodness is transcendental charity, in which everything is sacrificed for the sake of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vamanadev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had come to Bali Maharaj for alms, how could one get such an opportunity to give charity? Therefore Bali Maharaj decided, without hesitation, to give the Lord whatever he wanted. One may get various opportunities to lay down his life on the battlefield, but such an opportunity at this is hardly ever obtained. Om Jnanatimanandasya Jnanandana Salakaya Shakshuran Minitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sinha Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopi Sagopi Kakanta Radhakanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavanesware Visavana Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchaka Patrubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Sri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. So this verse is speaking about the opportunity. When the opportunity to make spiritual advancement arises, then one should not go about material calculations. One should not be worried. Bali Maharaj was not considering, well, but how will I land if I give this charity? He wasn't calculating, do I have some savings left in case? No, Bali Maharaj was simply considering this is a unique opportunity. And he gave everything he had. Of course, there are so many stories in relation to Bali Maharaj, Sukracharya, Lord Vamana. And I was looking at the Vamana Purana, and in the Vamana Purana, it is stated that once Bali had conquered the heavenly planets, that he went to his grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, and that he requested Prahlad Maharaj to please come and grace the heavenly planets, which Prahlad Maharaj did, and then Prahlad Maharaj formally installed him as Indra. So there he was, formally installed by Indra in the position, formally installed as Indra by Prahlad Maharaj. So what more could you want? I mean, everything seemed very bona fide, with Prahlad personally signing off on the whole thing. So all that was going on nicely for a while. But then some misfortune began to befall the Daityas. And so again Bali went to Prahlad Maharaj and inquired from him what was the reason of it. And then Prahlad Maharaj explained that now the Lord has appeared in the womb of Aditi, and therefore, because of that influence, the influence of the demons is diminishing, and therefore they're being defeated. So then Bali Maharaj, in a moment of foolishness, said, the Rakshasas can easily defeat Vishnu. And then Bali Maharaj got cursed by Prahlad that he would lose everything. Anyway, all that was forgotten. All that was not in his mind. All that was not in anyone's mind. But the Supreme Lord, He remembers all these things. The Supreme Lord never forgets. And all these kind of arrangements are setting the stage. Setting the stage for pastimes to unfold. So, in this way, Bali Maharaj was destined to lose everything. And as he lost everything, however, we see that he, rather than fighting, he simply gave. And in that, he gained so much spiritual advancement. So we see that later he gets that Sutala planet, and in that Sutala planet he gets a situation which is much more opulent than Indra. And Lord Vamanadev personally becomes the guard at the door of the palace. Right? And that's not all. It is also described further that when Krishna appeared on this planet, that before Krishna appeared, all these different pregnancies of Devaki were quite problematic. All the children she gave birth to were killed by Kamsa. Then we find out that Kamsa, that actually these were, in a previous life, Kamsa had been Kalanemi, and his sons had now come back as the sons of Devaki. So in a way he was killing his own sons. That was explained. But then these sons, somehow or other, after they had been killed by Kamsa, they were kept by Bali Maharaj. And they were kept by Bali Maharaj on the Sutala planet. And later, when Krishna and Balaram, they delivered the son of their spiritual master from death as their dakshin, right? They were, after their education, some dakshin was asked by, they asked Sandipani Muni, what dakshin would you like? He said, well, maybe you can bring my son back, who has died. So Krishna Balaram did that. And then when Devaki found out, well, oh, you brought back the sons of your teacher, so can you also bring back my sons? No problem, I will bring, yes, we will do. So Krishna and Balaram went then to Bali Maharaj's palace. And there Bali Maharaj got the darshan of Krishna and Balaram as well. So he got tremendous good fortune, both spiritual good fortune and material good fortune. It said when he got the darshan of Krishna and Balaram, then he forgot all about Vamanadev. He didn't even think about Vamanadev anymore. Somehow or other, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead absorbed his entire mind. And that was also interesting. Jiva Goswami describes like that in the Gopal Chant. Anyway, so all these, there are so many angles to which we can look at this particular pastime. And we're looking at the glory of Bali Maharaj. The story of the Vamana Purana, where it showed that Bali for a moment was proud and identifying with the Daityas, it shows that he was not always on the platform of pure devotion, and that actually prior to this whole incident, he had also been conditioned, and that he had been influenced by his birth and by his family connections and his community, the Daityas, and so on. So it showed that he was covered by the three modes of material nature. But nonetheless, he rose above at the crucial time. At the crucial time, he was clear. At the crucial time, he knew exactly what to do. He surrendered against the instruction of his spiritual master, who was, as we discussed last time when I gave a talk, I spoke a lot about Sukracharya and how he was actually a materialistic, very learned Brahmana, but his ultimate aim was his material security. When we are as practitioners of bhakti yoga, of devotional service, are reading these pastimes, we are trying to give preference to the pure transcendental platform. We are trying to be pure devotees. We're not going for anything less. So, upon looking at the Bhagavatam, we are looking in the mirror. We are looking at ourselves. We see how our own performance is being questioned here in the actions of these personalities. To what extent are we driven by material motives? Is there a Sukra Acharya in us? Are we also not just purely following the spiritual objective of pure devotional service, but are we following prey to Tarangaranjini, what is described in Madhurya Kadambini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as enjoying the side benefits of devotional service? So, Sukracharya had given nice instructions to Bali Maharaj. You do this sacrifice, you do that sacrifice, and then you'll be elevated. Then you'll conquer, the heavenly planets. And here you do this sacrifice, and now you'll get a chariot, a golden chariot coming from the fire, which is as good as the chariot of Indra. And here is a powerful transcendental conch. Oh yes, you blow that and auspiciousness will be there. So everything you have by my arrangement now, and then I will have everything by your efforts. See? So Sukra Acharya was all along thinking of his own benefit in the whole thing. So instructing Bali Maharaj, but actually thinking, and then I'll be in the heavenly planets and enjoying all that opulence. Tarangaranjini, enjoying the side benefits of devotional service, desiring position, desiring comforts, desiring security. It can also be that initially we don't desire, but then once we have it, we become conditioned by it, by our position, and then that overshadows our surrender to Krishna. And then we don't want to lose our position, and we cling to our positions, and we will not move on. The basic principle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is empowerment, right? Is the principle where one must engage everyone in devotional service. It is mentioned in the 9th chapter of the Adi Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the gardener of the Bhakti Kalpataru, the desire tree of devotional service. Then he says, what will I do? I am only one gardener. This tree has produced so many fruits. These fruits I wish to distribute to all. but how can I single-handedly distribute so many fruits? He's saying, therefore I order every man in the universe to take up this mission of distributing these fruits of love of God. So in this way, the Lord is speaking. However, if we think about this for a moment, is this the omnipotent, the almighty, supreme personality of Godhead speaking? And he's saying there's something he cannot do? That is not correct. There's nothing he cannot do. He can do anything. So where is a question that he cannot distribute all the fruits by himself? If he wants to, not a problem at all. He can do anything. He's not limited in power. So here, the Lord, in the role of a gardener, is speaking in a way that is not really correct, actually. Not speaking correctly. But why is he saying so? Because he wants others to do it. He wants others to do. Although he can do himself, he wants others to do. So this is the principle of empowerment. Because he wants that others engage in that service of distributing the fruits of love of God and then become transformed in the process by that. So this principle of empowerment, therefore, is the principle of this movement, that we wish to engage others in devotional service. And where others can do what we do, let them do. Let them do. Then we will do something greater. But what if you give away all your service and there's nothing left to do? Then what? Then we fall in a black hole and we've given our service to others and we have nothing left. Oh my God. How about that? No. Better hold on to your position. No. Do not give to others. Elbows and claws and politics and conniving. Somehow or other, do not give up your position because you will fall in a black hole. What will you do? No, don't worry. Don't worry. When we are out of a service, what will we do? Simple. We'll just preach. We'll just preach. Oh, and we need many people that are out of service, out of being busy with the material energy and running around and moving it here and there and putting this on top of that and going around this obstacle and overcoming that. We need people who are beyond all that, who will simply preach Krishna consciousness. Yes, society. Society needs that class of men. Oh, remember Dhruva Maharaj? Remember how somehow or other a difficult situation came about. A difficult situation came about. Dhruva Maharaj, he was very angry. Very, very angry. Dhruva Maharaj, because he was denied to sit on his father's lap, and his brother, he was Uttam, he was sitting on his father's lap, his half-brother. Not only that, his father, was quiet when his stepmother said he couldn't sit there, and the elder brother also. The elder brother was also sort of like, yes, down, this is my spot here. So he was also part of the whole thing, he was also part of it. So Dhruva's anger was there, obviously, for his stepmother, his father for not saying anything, and his stepbrother for also kicking him down. They were all included in his anger, and his anger was serious, as we see, because he was performing severe austerities and all that. Anyway, in the end, when Dhruva Maharaj is getting the darshan of the Lord, and Dhruva Maharaj is saying, I was praying for broken pieces of glass, and now you've given me diamonds and all that. You've given me your darshan. What is greater than that? I wanted a kingdom greater than my father and grandfather and all these things. And then next thing is Dhruva, he's getting his desires fulfilled, and the Lord says yes, yes. He gives him a kingdom greater than his father and grandfather, the pole star and all that, right? And he says, and also somehow or other your stepmother or your stepbrother will die, you know, and your stepmother also in a forest fire. So all these things are going on. And it's like, that's a bit ghastly if you get that part of your desires also fulfilled. I mean, he didn't really want that anymore now that he was purified, but it still came to pass, right? And then Uttam is being killed by the Yakshas. So then Dhruva felt very guilty because, you know, somehow earlier on he had desired it. So to wash off his own anger and all that, you know, to wash off that guilt feeling, he started to kill the Yakshas, you know, revenge left and right, and just killed so many, right? More than was reasonable, you know. Like, I mean, a little bit of power had to be shown to show you don't mess with this kingdom, you know. That's the duty of a king, to show, look, you know, you've messed with us, all right, you know, now we show you, you know, we show you what will happen. All right, got the point. No, so, all right, that goes on in this world. But Dhruva went beyond the call of duty and killed so many. Now, so, as I explained, to get rid of his guilt feelings, then what happens is two personalities appear. And one is Swayambhuva Manu, and the other one is Kuvera. And these personalities are completely aloof. They're aloof. They are not at all involved with material affairs. They are simply absorbed in transcendence, in cultivating spiritual consciousness. And from that renounce, from that aloof platform, they're approaching Dhruva now as an exception and saying, you know, like, maybe you're taking it a bit too far, maybe a bit too much bloodshed, maybe it's time to stop now, Dhruva. Okay. That was it. So society needs such aloof personalities for society to be spiritually strong. Because if those who are in the middle of life, in the middle phase of life, in the middle of family life, in the middle of work, in the middle of dealing with the material energy, even all in a context of Krishna consciousness, are meant to always make the proper choice, it's hard. It's very hard. Because you become caught up in the passion of the moment. It gets a bit overwhelming at times. It affects you emotionally, and how can you then take a proper spiritual decision? But then if there are personalities that are totally aloof, like the example of Swayambhuva Manu, the example of Kuvera, such personalities, yes, they are needed in society. That is needed in society. We need more of such personalities. So this principle of empowerment, no one is losing. No one is losing. As I explained, when there's someone who is ready to take over, yes, take over. We move on. We preach, yes, that is fine. Because that is the greatest. That is ultimately the most important. That is needed in society when there's a strong class of men. I like to mention the first social development conference that ever took place in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and it was a meeting where different members of different ashrams spoke. And I remember sort of how a brahmachari, well no, I think it started with a grihastha who was explaining that he was tired of being regarded as a second-class citizen. Yeah. a lusty man who couldn't control his senses. Then there was a brahmachari who was saying he was tired of being regarded or being told that just give up. Just give up. The statistics are against you. Right? Then finally there was a vanaprastha who spoke and who said, I have an identity crisis, I don't exist. So that was also interesting. Right? And it is true, this is the non-existent ashram. I mean, it may be a little bit, but it is lacking this ashram of aloof personalities who are not materially attached, who are not afraid that when they give up what they have, that they have nothing left. In a way, that was what Bali had left, right? Be a vanaprastha now, be renounced now, be just simply aloof now, be a spiritual personality now. Do not bank on all your material securities. Don't worry about it. The other day we discussed this point. Your real security are the well-wishers of the Vaishnavas and the Supreme Lord. Where else is your security? Turn to the Supreme Lord, and the Lord and the devotees become your security. No need for, have you got your insurance sorted out and so on? Well, your devotees are the insurance. So, like this, what is more glorious than to simply depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to just preach His glories. And this is required as time moves on. As time moves on, we need more people who will just voluntarily not wait for Vamana to come. Well, sorry, I was ready to give everything I had, but Vamana never came. No, not like that. Just to give, and just say, forget it. I'm simplifying my life now. I'm not gonna bother anymore trying to expand my facility. I'll keep it very simple, and I'm gonna spend my life just preaching Krishna consciousness strongly. If that would happen, hey, then we would find so many saintly personalities. Then we would find inspiration in these personalities, because they'd have nothing. They'd have no motive, no personal motive, no other interest, no conflict of interest. If you are, say you have many possessions, many things, how can you, then it's a little hard to speak about renunciation. Of course, then you can say Yukta Vairagya is like really the actual way of renunciation. Alright, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed a Yukta Vairagya where he was living very, very simple. Didn't want to accept a mattress. When Jagadananda came with a jug with perfumed oil, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, I cannot accept this. I'm a sannyasi. Please take it to the deity of Lord Jagannath. They can burn it in the lamps. That would be very nice on the altar. And Jagadananda simply walked away, took that oil, and then just outside the room smashed it on the ground. I mean, not just mildly, smashed it. It made a lot of noise. And then everyone came out, Lord Chaitanya came out of the room. What happened? And Jagadananda said, nothing happened. There was no oil. And then left. And then refused to eat for days. Until finally Lord Chaitanya told his servant Govinda to give his personal remnants to Jagadananda. Well, then Jagadananda took those personal remnants, because how could he deny the mercy? So he took. And in this way the Lord sort of broke the fast, but it is difficult when we are attached. Look at Lord Chaitanya, look at Jagadananda, look at the difference. One is attached to the oil, one is attached to have it in a particular way, the other one is, whatever. Que sera, sera, as the old song goes. Whatever will be, will be. And that spirit, there is a necessity for a class of men and women who have this consciousness to strengthen society, to make society complete. If we have brahmacharis are nice. They're fired up. They are the legs in Varna ashram. They're meant to run around. They're running around for the spiritual, with a spiritual objective. But they have to work with a lot of energy. They have to use that energy, and every night be so exhausted, as they say, when they hit the pillow, they fall asleep straight away. The grihastas are the waste. They are meant to produce. They are meant to do things. The vanaprasthas are the arms. The vanaprasthas, they are actually taking on the whole mission of the ashrams to ultimately, they do the work of the ashrams, the real work, getting connected to Krishna and forgetting everything else. The sannyasis are the head and the vision in society. So we need all these different ashrams in society to have a complete society. So in one sense, we still don't have a complete society in the Hare Krishna movement. And there's a vacuum in terms of aloof spiritual leadership. And such aloof spiritual leadership is needed. Sannyasis are just a handful, and are meant to be like that. That is here and there will be a sannyasi who will act to expand the vision. Abhayam sattvasam sudhir jnani yogi vyastitaha. A sannyasi is meant to cultivate fearlessness and transcendental knowledge, become deeply rooted in transcendental knowledge. And then from that platform of fearlessness and being rooted in transcendental knowledge, yes, one can speak. Anyway, so back to this particular verse where Bali Maharaj now was getting into this spirit of just being a renunciant, and not full of fear from what will happen now. He was fearless and ready to go forward, and that is a glorious position. Certainly, Bali Maharaj was not going to fall in a black hole, right? By giving up everything. Okay, I give up everything to the Lord, that's nice, it's a great opportunity to make some advances, but what will I do after that? I'm a king. I gotta do something. I'm a manager, I'm a king. What can I do? As a manager, I need to manage something. And what am I going to manage? Okay, it's managing the whole universe, maybe a little less, but gotta manage something. He was ready to give it all up. Still, Krishna reciprocated according to his nature and protected him and gave him something to manage. Okay, go manage the Sutala planet. By the way, it's better than what you had. Go manage that. And then, but in that Sutala planet, Bali Maharaj was just actually remembering. He was remembering. Sometimes we meet a disciple of Srila Prabhupada who, especially those who from the early days who had a lot of personal association and went through a lot, and their life has moved on, But they still live in that era. That was it. That was the peak in their life. And it will always be. That was the moment. And whenever they open their mouths, they begin to speak about all the things that happened then and there and what they saw with Prabhupada, because that was the highlight in their life. Countries also, they also do this. Like France still lives in the French Revolution, America still in the cowboy days, and like this, everyone stays like sort of in their glory moments, right? In their glory moments. So Bali Maharaj was in the Sutala planet in his palace, just reliving the glory moment of actually meeting the Lord face to face. And how Vamana dealt with him. Then Vamana was there as his guard at the palace, but the highlight was like that moment where he made that sacrifice. Never again in his life did he make such a big sacrifice as he made then. That was really his greatest moment of surrender in devotional service. And then, but then, while he's in that Sutala planet, then the mercy of the Lord just continues and continues. It's not over. Okay, this was it, my dear Bali. You have given everything now, and now you have your reward. I stay with you forever, and this is it now. No. Then the Lord arranges some extra mercy and comes there as Krishna and Balaram as well. Just see how the Lord is giving him a new challenge. At one point there's no more challenge. I had the peak of my life, and now basically I've had it. Now I'm just waiting to die, because I've had the greatest moment in my life. There's no more new peak experience to expect. The greatest thing is already behind me. I can go now. But then suddenly, no, it is not like that in spiritual life. There is always new and fresh experience, because the Lord is unlimitedly merciful. So the unlimitedly merciful Lord appeared as Krishna and Balaram and continued to reciprocate with Bali Maharaj. Because there's an interesting mention in relation to Draupadi, and that is when Draupadi was disrobed by Dusasana. She held on to the sari at first, right? But what was the point? Dusasana had big arms with big muscles, and a tender lady, what is she going to do against such muscles, right? So she realized there's no point in holding on to my cloth, right? So she threw her arms up in the air and called out, "Hey Govinda." Then in the Nectar of Devotion, Krishna is saying, whenever I remember how Draupadi threw her arms up in the air and called out, "Hey Govinda," whenever I'm remembering it, it said then, I feel that my desire to bestow mercy upon her increases. My appreciation for her increases. So in this way, we see how it works with the Lord. So Vamanadev not only once appreciated the gift of Bali Maharaj, he continuously after that appreciated the gift of Bali Maharaj. And his appreciation wasn't just, how nice, Bali Maharaj did that, and I'm remembering this. No. Each time I remember, my appreciation is increasing. And the Lord is not known to be forgetful. He doesn't forget anything. So, in other words, he continuously remembers, and therefore his appreciation is continuously increasing. And in this way, his mercy is continuously increasing. And that is the amazing nature of devotional service. So with that I will end. And if there's anyone who wants to respond.
So sometimes we are asked or advised to study scriptures, look at them from a different point of view. So it is good to think, for example, Dhruva Maharaj's case, what would be proper to act. And there was a devotee in his place and then he was rejected to see it and so on. How would we properly act? Or it's not proper to do that.
When he was killing the...
when he was rejected to see it.
Oh, the seat.
So how the devotee's action would be in that case.
Okay, well, he was 5 years old, so as a 5-year-old, it's pretty tough, you know. But we obviously, when we are denied a particular material facility, let it be, yeah, let it be. You know, what do we care? Yes, yes, you have it. Yes, you have it. There's nothing to lose because there's unlimited devotional service. So when we turn away from one thing, there's an ocean of devotional service in front of us. There's all the living entities in the 3 worlds who need to be delivered, who can finish that work. So if you work on one side and you can't, no, you're not welcome here, well, go and do it somewhere else. There's no turn around and start on the other side. Because there is so much unexplored territory that there is, it's not that we all have to look at the same thing and try and divide it. You know, we're all sitting there and, no, it should be done in this way, no, it should be done in that way. We're all sitting in one temple all together and we all want to be the temple president. You know, and sort of like, you know, no, I should be, no, I should be, no, he should be, no, we should be. You know, it's like in the end you just go like, okay, you know, okay, you can have this temple, I'll go somewhere else. No problem.
Thank you so much. What if there is not like make it a little bit concrete? If you have a small temple and there's not enough devotional service inside the temple to share, that everybody engages with the service, especially when 80% or 90% of the devotees who come are working, they have a full-time job. When they come to the temple, they really hope to get some service, but then you have those steady servants who are so much attached to your service. So it's very difficult to take that service away or distribute it, because then they get confused and angry. So what to do when there is not enough service to engage everybody a little bit, because due to the fact that they are working and they think this is it, this is temple. Sometimes I say, okay, come on, then tomorrow night outside, come to the books. No, they come to the temple and they want to do something in the temple because this is their time now, and the weekend is for them, and then all these things like, I make time to come to the temple and I expect something to do here. But yes, all the service is already given away. And people are so attached to the service.
Got it. Okay, well, there's 2 things, you know. People are attached to the service and they want to get territorial about what they're doing. That's one thing, which, you know, I'll leave for what it is. As we cannot force people to go into this empowerment model. We can only preach about it. We cannot enforce such a thing, you know. But now, talking about those people that want to do some service, yeah, they say they want to do it in the temple because this is their time. They are, you know, have the weekend and they're yeah. And then we say, go on Harinam, go on book distribution, but they want to do something in the temple and so on. No, it is a matter of organization. First of all, the vision. Organization begins with vision. So the vision is, there is no limit to the field. The field is unlimited because there are so many unlimited living beings who need the mercy of the Lord. So let us just then organize things. Very nicely organized events. As soon as you have a Ratha Yatra, hey, everyone gets involved, because if it's organized and if people get opportunities, then it's possible. Like, there are many tents, you can do question and answers, you can make a presentation, you can do this, you can do that. All right, okay, yes, I can do that. Somehow or other we'll find something for everyone according to their ability, their nature and so on. So management is how to harness the talents of people and then in preaching, and then create preaching events and opportunities and so on. Temple management therefore expands and expands and expands and expands. There's no end to it. And then at one point one expands maybe so far from the temple that there's so much service, such a big field of services, that it's natural that someone else becomes the temple president and now looks after the temple affairs, because one has a bigger service. And it goes like that. So, other question?
Shukracharya, he was a materialistic man. And how can a materialistic man be a spiritual master?
Shukracharya was a very exalted person at the same time. He was a Brahmana. He was very much in the mode of goodness. He was a teacher. He became a spiritual teacher, but he became the teacher of the demons, because they didn't really want a spiritual teacher that they were going to follow. They just wanted one for formality's sake. They just wanted one to fill the social position so that they could put their conscience to sleep and say, no, I'm doing everything. Yes, I am following all the standards. I have a guru, I'm a very spiritual personality. So in this way, Shukracharya was conveniently providing for the demons. So it was a marriage of convenience between Shukracharya and the demons, and both felt very conveniently benefited in maintaining their material attachments while in the name of spiritual life. A pact, so to speak. So yes, one can also, can such things also happen in the Sankirtan movement? Anything can happen in the Sankirtan movement, obviously, that's an understatement. But it's a little less likely to happen in the Sankirtan movement because there's so much emphasis on pure devotional service. But in Vedic culture, there is such an intricacy of so many so much ritual, so many different activities that invoke auspiciousness, that sometimes one becomes bewildered by the flowery words of the Vedas, or by the endless varieties of processes and rituals that are there, that through the trees one can no longer see the forest, right? Or one loses track of the vision, which is pure devotional service. So that can happen. So it can also theoretically happen in our movement, possible. And of course, Tarangaranjini, enjoying the side benefits of devotional service, that can always happen, and happens. And therefore one has to be detached, and every once in a while just get very charitable. If you get things, then you have them for a while, and then you give away. Like, there was in Mayapur, there was one Grihastha devotee who used to have a shop right in front of the Radhamadava temple, a gift shop, and it was running very, very well. And then one day, it was his shop, and he was giving donations, but one day he took the key of his shop and he put the key at the feet of Radhamadava. He gave the whole shop, no longer just some donations. So everyone, when one has possessions, every once in a while, one has to make some, get very charitable. Then one becomes purified. Otherwise, there is the risk, if you have a lot, that some inadvertent attachment creeps in, and that pure devotion becomes exchanged for devotional service with a motive, with a personal motive for enjoyment. Yeah.
I like this statement that Srimad Bhagavatam is mirror ourselves, and also this, that this is so important, I think, in our lives position. When we have a service, a certain service, then attachment, like Mataji said also. I find out when I have some certain service and somebody came to me, some new people come to me, seeing me doing gardens or in any service, how happy they became just seeing what we are doing in our movement. It is just like that you want to share. Like you say, we have tendency because our school system teaches us when you give something, you will lose, like you said. And this mentality of losing, like it is actually, like we say, mirror of our consciousness. When we give something, we think, oh, I will never get back. I'm rejected. Oh, I cannot do anymore what I do usually, because it's not anymore like it was. But Krishna had a special plan for every devotee. So this mentality of proceed to your position is not anymore your position, but it's Krishna's mercy. And it's very good actually what you say. It's so important that we, actually what we can learn from Shukracharya, he's a great teacher actually in the story, because he teaches us, like it was said, what Krishna gives us, because it's his mercy that we use for benefit of all, that is like cooperation of Prabhupada, especially. This is so important point, I find. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was nice. No, it was good. Appreciated it. Well said, well spoken. Okay, we'll end. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
That is the most nearby. If you can ask around, would you like to go on a drive? You have like 4 or 5 people, then it's worth it. Then if you get that together, then you have to ask the key from Manu. Because Manu will give the key today to Manu. And he has to drive all the time. He gets somebody else from the house. You are one of those inspired. If you live here, you need to try also. Or you have to go around the distribution. And this is how it starts to work. That's not really the question he's speaking about. The issue of sciences in our society is very important. And also on big days, we always think about our own big days. You're just thinking about like 2 years. Older devotees that are like 20 years, they had some period when they were like brahmachari and everything was bliss. They had the preaching programs all the time. I had to drive him to school programs, different Mahabharatas. We had ShyamSakhi, was traveling to the Dutch after. And we made so many devotees. Good Maharaj was there. And and they are all, most of them got initiation, like 20 devotees got initiation. Long time, a bit of ashram, some famous discussion going on now, that why all doesn't have a Sannyasi that is just traveling. That's true. Yeah, that's true. We have to. That's true. I'm not there yet, but sometimes pops in my mind. If I get strong enough, then I wouldn't mind to go back to Amsterdam. Yeah, but I have to admit that I just came from that hell from Amsterdam. I lived 18 years. And I tell them also, if I would be there and I would have some good association with it, something very caution. That's why I'm here, need some time here, but who knows in the future. They tell me that to keep an eye on this guy really needs more blessings. So I'm very happy with the blessings. Any Maharaj wants to send you there? He sent you? Yes, true. Yeah, you can go anywhere. also asked the bank share of this. Since that devotee became a, he started to evangelize just before the Chant very loud. Very good. We do sometimes even Kirtan and there's like 6 people there and then Mother always looks at the end of the song. Sometimes there's 20, sometimes 30 people outside. I don't bhajans go, sitting in the middle, brahmacharis, a few guest devotees, but mainly brahmacharis. And they just sit in the metro station and there for a few hours doing this. It's nice, I would sit in the evening, I have to go to my spot to read in the evening, somewhere around I don't know exactly the time. New York, you can also see the time of the moon. There's it says 22 or 18. Let me know I'll ask Dr. Young if he wants to go on, then he can usually try to the station. No.
She has some flowers.
Yes. Can you walk with me? Yes, for you, Raj. I'll wait for you. Or you can walk with me.
When you leave? Something nice, seeing the coaches in Radhadesh, and never get it in Mexico. Yeah. So, maybe you didn't get satisfied from what to do after that. I was thinking, it would be nice also if there were some books and some things, like that, on 38.
No, I'm 24.
Huh?
24.
Yeah, see, I'm 41 years old. So that's what I'm called. So probably use the live when I am on that's natural. I made it a long time, but still. So then I should have a bunch of books to keep me going. So now I have to take a little time to write it. Yeah. That's what I am so interested in.
No, but it's okay that you we are not listening. Start in a new way.
And you're all good now. Yeah, okay, tomorrow at 1. Yes. 2:30. Oh, actually,
Hare
So next week is February.
But you have to remind us.
Okay,
You have to get these things.
Okay, I can tell you any dates. Get print. So.
Hare
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna
Krishna is Hare Rama.
Hare